Welcome back to the channel. So this is a long awaited review for me because I've had this kit for about 2 or 3 weeks now. Um, so I want to get it onto the channel and have a look at it because I think this is quite an important release in a number of ways. First off, I don't think anyone had this on their bingo card for what Tamiya was going to be releasing as a surprise model this year. A Panzer I of B from Tamiya is quite unusual, I would say. What we've got here is a tank that spanned a very long time, actually. If you relate it to the Second World War, it was around for half of it. But if you relate it to the resurgence of the German army, I mean, this is what it was based around. So this thing was around in sort of 1935, 1936. Actually, a lot earlier. I think it was much earlier than that. So this was based around the idea of like a tank tractor that they were using. There was a lot of funny things going on through the 20s with the Germans not being able to have an army and trying to get around it, even doing some training in Russia on kind of modified tractor. They were tractor vehicles. And this is what came out of it. They created the Panzer I. Now, it shows its age by the fact of just having 2 machine guns, followed by the Panzer II, which really only had an auto cannon machine gun and a machine gun. Still wasn't really a tank as far as we think of it. Whereas if you think of the other countries, I suppose Great Britain, very much the same with like the Matilda I, but France was starting to bring in the conventional tank with an actual howitzer or a cannon in the turret. Similarly with Russia, with the BT series and the smaller tanks like that. So this was behind even for the period that it was in. Because of when it was about, it actually served over a very wide-ranging number of areas. Unfortunately, that hasn't been picked up massively by Tamiya. What we've got is 3 grey versions. Now, 2 of these are technically incorrect. So we've got this one, which is Poland. This should be grey and brown. Then we've got this one, which is France. This should also be grey and brown. Then we've got this one in Russia, which should be overall grey. It's always it's a common thing that people get wrong with their models. German tanks, the grey, even during the French campaign, was German grey and brown. And then they were repainted in overall grey after the fall of France. So just something to bear in mind. Now, I think we should have at least had a desert version. That's just my opinion. If you really wanted to be bold, you could have had a grey, desert, and a free-tone camouflage. Because this tank served in Spain, where it was in the early free-tone camouflage, which is a great big long German word that describes what that scheme was, and I won't try it here. Then there was they were also sent to China as well, because there's a weird bit of history where Germany was helping out China in the early war over there. The what was it? Sino-Japanese War, I think. The one that was preluded and went past. Did it? No, it preluded. It was a prequel. It started before World War II, but it went on towards the end of World War II, I believe. So the Germans were supplying the Chinese with vehicles and training, much like they were in Spain at that period of time between sort of 36 and 38. But once they started to get a bit friendly with the idea of what Japan was doing, they pulled their support for China. But there were certainly Panzer I A's, and the A has 1 wheel less, and the idler's on the floor, so the idler is like here. In fact, there's a totally different tank, to be honest. The superstructure is completely different. The only thing that's the same is the turret. It looks the same from a distance, but it's completely re-engineered. Spain had the A and the B, and then when we get into the Second World War, this served in Poland, France, Russia, Africa, probably even in Greece as well, because they went down there for a bit, didn't they? So it got about, put it like that. Anyway, what's that got to do with the model kit? Not a lot. So let's have a look at the plastic. So good old Tamiya. I do like modern Tamiya, I must admit. I like old Tamiya as well, to be honest. So we've got a fold out. Oh no, we've got an actual booklet. I thought this was a fold out. Right, so it says to pick your schemes, but I think they're all the same. The only thing to watch out for is the early ones have these, oh, what are they called? It's that. It's like a identification badge that they used early in the war. They were usually on the side and on the back. A lot of the tanks wore them. I think it was mainly Poland, just to make sure everyone knew who was who. The kit is very well done and incredibly well engineered. In fact, it's which you would expect. So we've got a multi-piece hull tub that brings us up to like the bathtub style of the lower hull. Got all the bits going on, much like always in Panzer Is. There's this rod that joins the idlers, and you always got to kind of get it in there one way or the other. It's much the same with this model. Wheels, very nicely done. So we've got three-part idlers. So the tyres are going around the centre, and then we've got the sprocket as well. We'll have to look at the road wheels as well, because that's another case in point usually with Panzer Is, is how the road wheels are done, because they got this inner lip and it's usually photo etched, but it looks like it's quite ingeniously done here by having a two-part rubber seal going around the main sort of hub of the wheel. And then we've got the bar going on as well, which is always really shows the age, because it's got like the way the suspension's done, it's very old looking. Then we've got link and length tracks, which are very nice there. We've got a couple of pin points, or one point where the lug just goes into the return roller there, and then we go on around. Probably the best way to do it. You wouldn't really want interlinking tracks. Well, Tamiya doesn't really do that so much anyway, but it's very small on this little tank. And then we've got the superstructure being done, and the upper hull going down onto the lower hull. Few doors, extra bits, tool clamps and stuff. Tools with tool clamps. We just probably need to check them, because I think the tool clamps early on were a little bit different. So maybe you can let me know in the comments below if you know that these might need changing out. Ingenious bit of engineering here for the photo etch muffler or exhaust shroud, where we've got this jig and we put it in and push that down and it bends it perfectly exactly as you want. Good old Tamiya. Then we've got the exhaust going on there, and then the shroud going on around it. The jack, this funny little thing that's always on a Panzer I. I don't actually know what that is. Some sort of exhaust or air intake, I don't know, something like that. And then we get on through the build onto the turret, a couple of MG34s going in, and then we finish off the build there. And this is showing you there, like, see, that's only in Poland, and that's those identification badges, I guess. Now we've got a really nice crew figure, and it's essential, I think, on a tank like this, because it shows the scale, quite how small it is. They're only really 2-men tanks. Now we've got two parts here to change it out. So we've got, so for Poland and France, oh, we might have to double check France. Definitely Poland. Definitely Poland. I don't know if it says here B and C. I did think you could have either or when you get to France. It's starting to change over to the side cap. But yeah, you've got the two different heads for the two different campaigns. And then once we get into Russia, we're well into side cap. And it does look like we've got the insignia on the decal sheet for the figures. And that's perfect. So that's a nice little booklet. And then we've got this that you're getting in modern Tamiya models now, which is a little bit of information. There's a Spanish version, painted in grey. They weren't actually in grey when in service. And then so you've got the Polish division. Again, you just need to have, I think it's 1/3 is brown. So it's just random sort of spots around. Very hard to see in the black and white photos, but it is there. If you look for it, you will see it. And then we've got the same again on the French one, and then Russia overall grey. Got a nice little sort of plan drawing there, telling you what all the bits are. Maybe I should have read that. And then we've got the write-up here is in English with the history. 1932, 1933, 150 were ordered, and they were out in 1934. So there we are. On to the parts. Now, it is a very small model. Not much to it at all. So let's get into it. The good news, if you've stayed this long, I am going to be building this one. I've just cleared the bench, literally, as you can see. And I'm going to get this one done now. And I think I might do the motorcycle and sidecar to go with it and turn it into a little vignette. And that can be my build running into Christmas time. I've been highly anticipating this kit. I'm just going to do a Russian version because I got the Takom A and B, which I did want to mention. In fact, I will. When this came out, there was a lot of mention saying, finally, it's great to have a brand new Panzer I in 1/35 scale. Well, this came out about a year and a half ago, so we've already had that. And this shows the schemes. See, that's how they should look. That's the colour. In fact, this one was weird with its marking schemes. With the fact that, you know, it's all kind of the same. There's no... It's pages and pages of the same tank, but that there is what the camouflage scheme for Poland and France is. But here, you know, you just got, so you got that, and then we got that. Oh, there we are. Right, there is a desert one. Well, that's better. So this is what Tamiya could have done. You know, just chuck one like that in there. Just makes it a bit easier. And then you've got Poland again. Poland again. And France. Hooray. With the correct scheme. So, brilliant. So, this is why I'm just going to do a Russian one, because I've got those two. That's an A and a B in there. And I'm going to do one for Spain and I'll do one for Poland. So, I do love the Panzer I. So, there's the superstructure. Oh, well, I got this out. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's see what Takom did in comparison, because there was a few criticisms about this, and I thought, well, that's already been done before, about the moulded in hatches and things like that. Oh, and look at that, by sheer luck I've managed to grab the B as well, so we can go light for light. I mean, hard to really tell, isn't it? You could say Takom is a little bit sharper in its detail. But then see the weld beads running down there. There's not a lot in it, is there? I think they'd look identical once painted and finished. But that's good news. Well done, Tamiya. So that's the bits we got there. Lovely turret with those raised bolt heads even, and the recessed stuff. Let's just risk a little bit more light. There we go. And then we're on to a clear part, which is nice as well, because you don't always get that. That's just for a couple of lights, the lenses. So we've got identical screws and good old poly caps. So there's the tracks. Well, I can't see anything glaring there. They look accurate to me. Shouldn't be any open guide horns. There should be open for where the sprocket goes, which they are, and they should be open in the middle, which they are. That's what I meant, sorry. I mean, and on the edges. Wow. Good stuff. Here's the wheels. So these will be 2-piece. So you'll have a seam on the actual tyre end, but that's fine. Just sand that down. This is the bit that often is photo etched. So you get these photo etched rings you need to glue in there that are right pain, but looks like you managed to mould them in. And that's the centre of the hubs. Nothing wrong with that. Funny enough, we got different thicknesses of bag. So this is a much more heavy duty bag. I expect there's a reason for that. So lower hole, look at that, for the bottom of the tank. And the diamond pattern. All the bolt head detail on the side of the hole. Exceptionally well done. And here we just got a few of the finer details, so let's have a look at the figure, the two heads. They're just getting better and better. Absolutely fantastic. Some really great stuff there. Again, that two-piece, we saw this in the Takom kit with the Otacarius. Never seen people do it that kind of way before. Detail across this, very, very nice. The MGs are really, really nice. Wood grain there on the jack block. Very good. Inside of the hatch. Ejector pins, Tamiya is the only thing they do which is just a bit of a pain, and other people don't do it. There must be a way around it. These inner hatches, just slightly annoying. So we've got the tool clamps there, so just drilling that out make all the difference through that handle. There should just be a hole in the middle of that handle. It's sort of recessed there, so a little bit of a drill bit through, and it just brings it to life. So there we are. I think that's a cracking little kit, and like I said, I'm just going to probably get this one together and maybe chuck this one in with it, do a little scene in Russia. These guys looking at that and then just shooting on past, and that might be too much, or it might be just right. But that's what I'm going to try and give a go, and we'll see how far along with that we get. So hopefully that was of interest. A very lovely addition to the Tamiya range, and let's hope it continues. They could do a number of vehicles off of this chassis as well. We could have the Panzer I, we could have the Bison, to name but a few. So let's hope that that happens as well. But I won't be holding my breath with Tamiya, because they're notorious for not adding variants to models that are crying out for it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if any of you guys have got this or started building it, and I hope to bring this to the channel shortly. So as always, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.